Там еще на выходе в 8 утра работают институты.
Выход уже. А он будет точно. Сейчас вот до 5 начинает, да? Только проверяем, а
у меня 6 апреля Сашки день рождения. Только примерно собраться, опять нужно гулять.
А кого вы там подаете?
Людей. Нет, когда вы поедете. Нет, выглядишь хорошо.
You look fine.
Начинаешь уже спать по-человечески.
My sleep has improved. It's good that you slept well.
Нет, пусть шумит.
And close the devices. And we'll stay like that until after the engine shut off. And then we can open up the visor and then sit all the 5 hours. If it's within the time, then it's airtight and all this stuff. So that's enjoy the show.
Жарко будет.
Чем-то даже похуже. Вот честно. Знаете, раньше такие разные были, а сейчас такие вроде даже похожи.
You are very different people, but right now you look very similar.
Ну, ты поехала работать, я решила спать.
Просьба покинуть помещение,
Ты бабушка, да, это очень красиво.
Сейчас я еще с тобой и дойду.
Да.
Все сделаем.
А эти вот настояли, вы завтра утром будете обладаться пельменями.
Которые?
Да.
А Леша, почему ты двойную форму? Они тут подождут, когда вы улетите. Я не знаю, остальные... Телевидение дают это, часы.
Нормально.
Я смотрю, тебе что-то показывают.
У меня?
Вот я пришел в 10 вечера, да? Не видите? Да. Мы сначала скинуть делать.
You can play with the service legs, but did you see I could spin my glove around and keep so the hand goes backwards? Like Halloween.
Ну что, вас покормили?
Yeah, brother, pull me in now.
Photo opportunity for the prime crew altogether. Great. Good luck. Good luck to you guys.
Once the suit-up activities were completed and the pressure in the suits was verified to be airtight, the crew prepared to depart for the launch pad. They left Site 254 waving farewell to well-wishers. Chris Cassidy also has some friends and family on hand. Some of his former military buddies are also there to bid farewell to their friend as he begins 5.5 months up in space. The crew members boarded their bus at about 12:43 p.m. Central Time for the ride to launch pad number 1. Their drive took about 25 minutes with an arrival at the pad at about 1:08 p.m. Central Time. Awaiting the crew's arrival at the base of the Soyuz rocket were more well-wishers, including Vladimir Popovkin, the head of Roscosmos, who is also the head of the Russian State Commission of Top Space Managers, and Vitaly Lopoda, the head of Soyuz spacecraft designer RSC Energia.
The prime crew of the Soyuz vehicle is ready for the launch. So I will be there, will have come with you. Good luck. The crew is going on board.
The crew members waved goodbye at the pad and boarded the elevator for the ride to the top of the Soyuz rocket to board their capsule. They have been on board now for about 90 minutes. Since you saw this footage, the Soyuz rocket billowing oxygen was fueled about 3 hours prior to launch. Back at the launch site in Baikonur, checks of the spacecraft systems are continuing as the countdown proceeds on schedule for launch at 3:43 p.m. Central Time today, just 38 minutes from now. All systems are go. Again, the weather is cooperating this evening. It is clear skies, a full moon. The temperature is in the 50s down there at the launch site, and all systems are currently go. The pad service structure components have been lowered. The suit leak checks are about to begin here momentarily, and the descent module testing is complete at this point. Launch is going to be precisely timed for the moment when the Earth's rotation will place the Baikonur Cosmodrome in the plane of the orbit of the International Space Station. Launch will begin the 6-hour rendezvous that will culminate with docking to the space station's Poisk module, which is part of the Russian segment, at 9:32 p.m. Central Time tonight. That's 10:32 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 6:32 a.m. there in Moscow. Russian and American dignitaries, guests, and families will be watching the events unfold on television from a hotel there at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. They will be gathered together. Typically what happens is that they watch this from the Russian Mission Control Center in Moscow, but of course with the accelerated timeline tonight, they do not have a chance to get back to Moscow and fly back to watch it. So they will be watching it there locally, and we will be bringing you live reports from there during our docking coverage later on this evening. We are now 36 minutes before launch, and the launch pad service structures, as we mentioned, have been lowered. We'll also be testing out the Soyuz escape tower that would fire in the event of the problem during launch. The system is designed to pull the spacecraft and the crew clear of the booster, enabling the Soyuz capsule to parachute to a safe landing in the event of an emergency during the launch or early stages of the climb to orbit. We spoke with the crew members before the flight about their upcoming expedition, their careers preparing for the flight, and what they are most looking forward to as we count down to launch, just 35.5 minutes away. Let's hear from the crew in their own words.
The next members of the International Space Station crew all believe that their 6-month mission is an important part of the work that's needed to help human beings continue to explore well beyond their home planet. Pavel Vinogradov was born in the far eastern Russian town of Magadan and grew up in the even farther eastern town of Anodir, just 500 miles across the Bering Sea from Nome, Alaska.
If you have been to Alaska, then it's pretty much the same. The nature is just fantastic. Of course, the climate is very harsh, 8 months of winter, lots of snow and ice, but I love it. I enjoy it.
After a childhood spent dreaming of becoming a pilot, Vinogradov left Anodir after high school for the Moscow Aviation Institute. He earned a degree in rocket booster design, then taught and did research at the institute while earning a second degree in computer systems and systems analysis. Vinogradov joined the design bureau of the Rocket Space Corporation Energia in 1983 and worked on the Mir space station, the Buran shuttle, and other Energia vehicles before being selected to Energia's Cosmonaut Corps in 1992. He logged 198 days in space as the board engineer on Mir 24 and made 5 spacewalks to repair Mir after a Progress freighter punched a hole in it in the summer of 1997. He made one more spacewalk in 2006 as commander of the International Space Station's Expedition 13, a 183-day mission that restored the station's crew complement to 3. He believes today's space exploration efforts bear comparison to the sea voyages of the great explorers in the Age of Discovery.
People who were exploring the Earth did not know that they will discover America in 4 months, for example. The risks were great. But I have no doubt that, likewise, we, as those explorers, we need to explore space.
Retired Russian Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Mazurkin is a product of Western Russia. Born in Yurshichi in the Smolensk region and raised a couple of 100 miles away in Oryol. He calls his childhood a typical one and says even as a young boy, he wanted to go places no one had been to before.
I wanted and decided to be a cosmonaut when I was a little boy. When I was a 13 years old guy, I went to the aviation club. There I made parachute jumping. There I was flying on gliders.
Becoming a pilot was next on his list. After school in Oryol, Mazurkin went to the Kasha High Air Force Pilot School in Volgograd, then finished his pilot training at the Armavir Military Aviation Institute in Krasnodar in southern Russia. He spent the next 7 years in the Russian Air Force as a pilot instructor at the Krasnodar Military Aviation Institute, before being selected as a cosmonaut in 2006. Mazurkin shares the philosophical view of the Russian rocket science pioneer Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, who believed that Earth is the cradle of humanity, but that mankind can't stay in the cradle forever.
He was positive that we are going to the space and we will live